Hey everyone, Thyworm here with my take on the patch notes from a solo self-found perspective. In this video I will highlight patch note changes particularly impactful on SSF, both good and bad. But not before saying this patch looks absolutely bonkers as per usual, and I can't wait to play as per usual. I took a week off even as, well, you get the idea. Starting with the league mechanic. I'm a big fan of city builders, so this game mode is right up my alley. The only feature we won't be able to use is the trade forum using gold to get other currencies, but everything else is fair game. No clue how easy it's going to be to get all those shipments that they show in the trailer, but a few tabs of bubblegum currency is something that I won't scoff at in solo self-found. Gold in general seems super useful, especially respecs and solo self-found in early league scenarios can be quite a pain. By allowing us to use gold to respec next to Orbs of Regret and with lower gold costs at lower levels, that is hopefully an issue of the past. Respecking should be quite easy. We can use gold for gambling, so the moment that you've upgraded your entire city, which also costs gold, and you've spent it on all other avenues you can think of, you can always unleash your inner gambling addiction with the new NPC Faustus, who can also join you in your hideout for that gambling convenience. I feel the black market that I'm describing here deserves a special mention. It could be amazing for SSF gearing, and I'm definitely going to check that out and experiment with it as soon as I have amassed some gold. This league introduces quite a bit of new currency, and most of those are incredibly SSF friendly. Various Maven's chisels are introduced, all buffing a specific aspect of the map that you apply them to. There are now chisels to enhance currency found, enhance divination cards found, enhance item rarity, enhance pack size, and enhance Scarabs found. Additionally, you will need way fewer chisels than previously, which is worth noting. In Acropolis, I ran out of chisels pretty often actually in solo self-found, and something tells me that next league, with all these changes, that won't be an issue anymore. Another change in itemization is the removal of item quantity from gear, but honestly that doesn't affect SSF much. I would never run Magic Find in SSF, I can't imagine many people doing that, especially dedicating a whole build to it. I just don't see the point, and now it's not even possible anymore, and I think that's a good change. Item quality has been reworked. The rarity of the item is no longer relevant when applying cartographer's chisels, blacksmith's whetstones, armorer's scraps, glass blowers baubles, and catalysts to non-unique items. Instead, the amount of quality they provide is now based on the item level. These currencies now apply 20% quality to very low level equipment, with this amount reducing as the item level increases. This is amazing for solo self-found, where those currencies aren't readily available and you feel like you would waste them on lower level maps or gear. Now you can and should use them, making your Atlas progression and campaign so much smoother, because 20% quality maps really are a whole different beast even at tier 4. And the same is true for a 20% quality weapon for an attack skill build, especially with the new quality changes. And for some reason, NPCs will no longer sell glassblower baubles. Kind of a big deal actually, so let's hope the settlers provide it, or maybe you should just put the vendor recipe on your loot filter, meaning 20% quality flasks. Here is some Scarab news. Plenty of them received an overhaul or some balancing. I'm just going to name a few that stand out to me and that I've used in Acropolis quite a bit. To no one's surprise, the divination card Scarabs got nerfed into the ground. That has very little impact on solo self-found, as these were incredibly rare to begin with, and this nerf is targeted towards trade only, where headhunters at some point were as little as 5 divines, I think it was. In short, you can't drop entire stacks of div cards anymore from favored maps. The Domination Scarab of Teaching got nerfed too. No longer does every shrine give 30% experience bonus, but now this scarab only spawns one shrine which gives that bonus. That hurts the power leveling quite a bit. The Cartography Scarab of Duplication has been renamed to the Cartography Scarab of Multitude. It now causes an area to contain 8 to 12 additional packs of difficult and rewarding monsters, which drop 300% increased maps, instead of causing maps found in an area to have a 30% chance to be duplicated. With more monsters now dropping maps, I don't think we need map duplication really, so this change is probably fine for solo self-found. The Reliquary Scarab of Overlords has been renamed to the Titanic Scarab of Treasures. It no longer causes unique monsters in an area to drop an additional unique item. Instead, it now causes unique monsters in an area to have 2 additional rewards and 30% increased toughness. This pretty much kills the unique farming strategy, which was especially powerful in Soul Self-Found. You needed this scarab to drop tons of uniques, which no longer works. Shame, but yeah, can't say it's a big surprise, and in trade this likely got completely abused. The Reliquary Scarab of Vision that previously spawned the Nameless Seer is no longer doing that. That is another source of uniques gone. It's a little sad for us SSF players, but I'm confident the new league mechanic will literally bring boatloads of uniques. I don't think we need to worry all that much, and the Nameless Seer is still in the game. A few scarabs got removed entirely, and for Solo Self-Found I think the most notable ones are the Bestiary Scarab of the Shadowed Crow, meaning that via scarabs you can no longer spawn the Black Morgan, which was incredibly powerful for beast crafting recipes like guaranteeing 6 sockets and 6 links. You can still encounter this guy, but not via scarabs anymore. GGG removed also the Breach Scarab of the Dreamer, which has a little bit of impact on SSF because this guaranteed Chayula in your breaches, and as Chayula is the hardest to find and you need the splinters for the Feared Invitation, ultimately this had some impact. Let's talk about endgame SSF changes. The addition of the 6th map slot is of course relevant to any league, but I think especially in Solo Self-Found it opens up so many additional strategies and possibilities. The unique farming strategy, for example, I used this league would be so much better even with an additional scarab if it would have survived. If you get a strong character, the same is true probably for all those Blight and Breach scarabs that you can stack on top of each other. You get your 5th slot from killing Maven and your 6th from completing a tier 17 map. Or vice versa if you do a tier 17 map before you kill the Maven, which isn't super likely. Talking about scarabs, chisels and horizon orbs now follow the same drop rules as maps, as they are consumed proportionally to endgame maps. I'm not entirely sure what the impact of this statement is, to be honest, but if I were to guess, they will then drop less, because in Necropolis I dropped way more scarabs than maps. That would be a shame, but we'll have to see. Adding the Nameless Seer as a random NPC you can find in high tier maps is a nice addition too in Solo Self-Found. He will likely still offer decent uniques, and while his top tier might have been nerfed, I wouldn't be surprised to find a Chevron's wrappings, for example. If you're to find that using traditional means, it can take ages, so I'm happy the Seer is here to stay. He also allows for scrying, which is basically copying the divination card that you get from one map to another map. That is quite a nice quality of life thing, and divination cards are of course huge in Solo Self-Found, so target farming them will be easier. A very welcome change, this one. The tier 17 maps have been nerfed, some ridiculous modifiers like Union of Souls are gone entirely, and monster life and damage have been toned down. They're less rewarding too, it seems. This is massive for Solo Self-Found. In Necropolis, I barely played tier 17 because they were so insufferable, and as a result I didn't kill a single Uber boss because the fragments that you needed to access that content were locked behind tier 17 maps. I really hope that's not the case anymore, although it's hard to tell from just a few lines in the patch notes. Valdo's puzzle boxes, which contain tier 17 maps as well, are now dropping more often but have their unique rarity lowered, meaning less magebloods. To me, this is a buff to SSF. These Valdo maps can contain valuable SSF uniques that are rather worthless in trade, so they're quite common in terms of the boxes, and with more of the Valdo maps dropping, those uniques will be more accessible. I wouldn't underestimate the impact of this, and I feel it's a welcome change. I also really enjoy running these maps because in contrast to regular tier 17 maps, they don't have progression locked behind them, like the Uber bosses. Valdo's maps offer just a good challenge and an immediate reward, and that's it. I'm looking forward to running a few more of those. Finally, the Pact with Energy notable Atlas passive skill got nerfed, and while it provides the same bonuses, they only last for 60 seconds. Big nerf, and in Solo Self-Found this node used to be a lot of player power, which we are now missing. That means it's probably not getting picked all the time anymore, and I think I'll pass on it as well in my starter tree. I am making a video soon about my Atlas starter tree, by the way, and about my progression. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe and like for more Path of Exile SSF content. Thanks for watching and making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.